Good evening, I'm Jeff Lyons. It is 9 o'clock here on Wednesday night, May the 28th, time for the First Alert Weather Show at 9. I'm glad you're here, and if you're new to the First Alert Weather Show, or maybe you're coming back for the umpteenth time, you know you can comment in on the 14 News Facebook page. I'll be looking at those comments and any questions if you have them about halfway through the show, just right after pet picks. We have a good pet pick for you tonight, too. Something to look forward to, as this weather is going to look somewhat like a rerun. Clouds and sprinkles still possible overnight. And then we have a chance for some rain again in the morning and more likely on Friday morning. That will be coming out of Thursday night's showers and storms. It does still look like we are going to get this promised warm-up for the weekend. That's really the big thing we've been hyping around here, just because it's been unusually or unseasonably cool out there for the last weeks of May. On the radar pick right now, this is with the gain all the way up, so it's kind of obliterating some of those light showers, but we have had a few sprinkles out there, and that's really about the extent of it. We weren't expecting much, if any, rain today. All the active weather still out here in the plains from northern Texas up through Kansas, and those showers and storms will eventually kind of converge and then move across our region tomorrow evening at about this time. So our thunderstorm risk, at least severe weather risk, still appears to be minimal. The only exception would be far southwest Kentucky here in the Purchase region, maybe down into SEMO. And then on Friday, again with the departing storms, we may hear some rumbles of thunder and get a heavy downpour here or there. Here's the hour-by-hour forecast starting with tomorrow morning, and we begin with sunny skies out there. Temperatures will drop into the 60s overnight and then climb to near 80 during the afternoon. Our model's still coming up with some rain or thunderstorms by the evening tomorrow night, and those would likely be moving through overnight after sunset and before sunrise on Friday. And the latest solution here still keeps us unstable enough for a few showers through the midday hours on Friday before finally drying out and warming up over the weekend. Our temperatures today at least got into the mid-70s. I think we had 76 for the high. And our overnight lows are pretty close to the norm for this time of the year, which is around 60 degrees. Those are current temps around the Midwest right now. Everybody enjoying unseasonably cool temperatures right now, and that includes all of our counties here in the tri-state. Lawrenceville up there in Lawrence County, 65 degrees, Evansville at 69, Henderson 67, and Newburgh at 70 right now, just to pick a few temperatures off the map. As I said, we hit 76 today for the high. We only got down to 63 this morning, and that's because we had pretty cloudy skies to start the morning that kept us a little bit warmer than we might have gotten under a clear sky. So at least we're back now with some mid-70s here this week. And we did pick up a little rain this morning, 1900ths to be exact. But then after that, it dried out and warmed up pretty nicely during the day. So good recovery out there. And that means now for the temperature for the month, we're still behind by about 1 degree. So a cooler than normal May. And it looks like it will end up that way too on Saturday when we finish out May. 78 for the high tomorrow. Again, our best chance for showers and storms will come in the afternoon, evening, and overnight as what's left of the energy out here kind of drifts across and through the tri-state overnight. The hour-by-hour forecast here, again, showing that scenario through their Thursday night, early Friday morning as a low pressure zips through. Beyond that, we have temperatures that are going to get above normal. In fact, we may be looking at our first 90s of the year next week, toward the end of the week. Currently, we're looking at upper 80s here, at least through the middle of the week next week. And it wouldn't surprise me to see those upper 80s lingering all the way through to Friday. Rain chances, other than that Thursday night, Friday morning thing, really dry up. Saturday, maybe an isolated shower or two, and then Sunday dry, Monday, Tuesday dry, and even Wednesday looking dry as well. 59 tonight and partly cloudy. Tomorrow's high gets us up to 79 degrees. And then over the next 7 days, we have a return to more normal summer type conditions with highs in the mid to upper 80s and lows in the upper 60s out there. And that's in line with our above normal temperature expectation there through the 7th of June and near normal rainfall prediction at the same time. All right, pet pick tonight. We got a different one here. This is called Bunny Love. You got to look carefully at this picture. Now that it's enlarged, I can see it a little better. You should count 2 bunnies in here, one here and the bigger bunny over on top. So anyway, interesting picture there from Reese and Jet. So we have had ferrets on, we've had bunnies, we've had snakes, tarantulas. Now we're talking. We've had some great pet picks from all of you, so I appreciate that. Kind of spices it up here on the on the old weather show. All right, let's see here. We'll go down the questions out. Lakenya Everhart's on. Hey, Lakenya, how are you? Patty Miller's on. Good evening. Yes, it is another good evening out there. Darlene Ezel, why is there a continuous rumble of thunder that we had just a couple of weeks ago? Why is there a continuous rumble of thunder? I'm not quite sure what you're asking. Why was the thunder nearly continuous? It had to do with the way the atmosphere was stacked at the time. We likely had a temperature inversion that was basically ducting or reflecting those sound waves back down to the earth, and so you get this rumbling or rolling effect with the thunder. We've done a thing on that before. I'll have to pull that explainer back out. I don't have it loaded up right now. Yvonne Harrell asks, how am I doing? Well, I'm doing fine. William Raleigh had 1/1800ths of an inch of rain at Bossy Field. And Patty likes the bunnies. All right, there you go. We'll leave the sweet bunnies up there for just a little bit. And yeah, we have had, just a few thunderstorms this month. It's been fairly quiet other than the 16th when we had the tornadoes and everything. But all in all, it's been a pretty easy May by comparison to March and April, where we had all that severe weather. One thing I wanted to talk about tonight in the Science Corner, when we show you maps, or when I show you maps, we rely quite heavily on the pressure patterns out there, isobars on the map, to depict where we have high and low pressure, whether we'll see rain, cloud cover, and the like. Isobars are simply lines that connect points with equal pressure on the map. Well, that's great, but how do you get the pressure? How do you measure the pressure? Well, the instrument used is a barometer, and all weather stations have a barometer today. But that might have got you to wondering, well, who came up with a barometer? How long have those been around? Well, this is a long story. I will compress it down a little bit. We won't cover every year since 1643. But that's when Torricelli, the Italian physicist and scientist, first discovered that a column of mercury would fluctuate, the height of it would. And initially he thought it was because of heat, which is a reasonable expectation, but turns out it was actually atmospheric pressure. Of course, the bigger question is, why was he messing with a column of mercury to begin with? Well, it's a long story, but basically it had to do with being able to siphon or pump, back then, water up through a pipe, and it can only go a certain height. And so he was trying to model this by using mercury. Mercury is about 12 times heavier than water, so you can scale everything down. Anyhow, he was wrong in assuming it was heat causing the column to rise and fall. So his good friend Pascal, the guy from the mathematician, but also a physicist, determined that the pressure rise and fall was actually in response to the weight of the atmosphere pushing down on the mercury in the basin here. Basically what Torricelli did, he took a tube and they drew the air out, so there was a vacuum up here, and then he put it down into a bowl of mercury. They were wild and crazy back then, by the way. That would kill you today. You can't really, handle mercury much. But they all did back then. And as that pressure pushed down on the mercury in the basin, they discovered over time in the trial and error that based on the altitude or weather systems or various factors, it would affect the height of that column of mercury. And to back that up, Pascal actually had a column of mercury taken up a mountain to see if it would, he hypothesized the air would be thinner up there and less, pushing down less, and have a lower pressure, and he was correct. So anyhow, that was the origins of the mercury barometer. Not a real practical instrument, but it did gain popularity. A lot of wealthy people had mercury barometers back then. And we get on up into the 19th and 20th centuries, and we replaced it with a little more practical barometer, the aneroid barometer, which uses a pressure box, basically a sealed box at a constant pressure. And when the atmosphere pushes down on that box, then it causes the arrow on the barometer to deflect or move to indicate the change in pressure. And so that's a little on barometers. What do you think of that? Because we're kind of workshopping a few things to do on this new weather show that we're going to be launching here before you know it. You like that kind of stuff, or do you want a different sort of content? I'll wait for some comments so you can think about that. Yvonne Harrell, will we see any more bad weather? Yes, of course we will. Not this week, though. It's going to be pretty calm. Can I mow the grass Friday? Tony Kitely. I'm going to try to get mine tomorrow because I'm afraid it'll be a little wet Friday morning. If you can mow later in the day Friday, you should be fine. But I think it will rain tomorrow night and early Friday morning. Let's see. I don't know if we have any other questions or comments. I think Amy Elsner is responding cool to the barometer. You would be the likely audience for that. You like the sciencey stuff, you and Eli. So anyway, I hope that's a little something maybe you didn't know and that you now know. I need to go back over and work on 14 News at 10. I appreciate you watching us here on the Weather Show at 9. I will see you tomorrow night again at 9 o'clock. And just a personal note here, I will be in Petersburg tomorrow at the Public Library. I'm doing a program there at 5:30 Eastern Time about the Petersburg tornado of June the 2nd, 1990. So you can come out to the library and see me if you live in the neighborhood. Otherwise, I'll be here and tell you a little bit about that on the Weather Show at 9. Thanks so much for watching. We will see you on 14 News at 10. Good night.